Hey guys, and today we're going to talk about engineering and construction lab procedures. So, first we're going to talk about our virtual classroom expectations, right? And so, because we're doing a lot of Zoom and because we're going to be in this virtual environment for at least the first couple of weeks, I want to go over some of the basic rules, okay? I want you to identify a suitable workspace to work, right? And so, a suitable workspace is a desk or a table, right? Dining room table, kitchen table, a desk in your room, okay? You shouldn't be laying in bed as you're working. Okay, that's not how you can concentrate. That's not what you do in school. That's not what you should be doing virtually learning. Okay, so log in 5 minutes before the virtual classroom session begins. Okay, that way I can look, and that's how I'm taking attendance as well. So not only am I having you type present in the chat when you come in, but I'm also taking attendance prior to you coming into the classroom. Okay, so it's highly recommended that you attend the 15 minutes of live class during your class time period each day. Okay, during that class time, I'm going over the previous day's assignment and I'm talking about the current day's assignment. So that's the time where I can answer any of your questions. Okay, not coming in for that 15 minutes could result in you having all kinds of questions and then asking questions too late for me to get you timely responses. Be respectful. That's both to me and your classmates, right? So if they're talking, you shouldn't be talking over them. Okay? If you have a question, raise your hand. I'll call on you, and then you'll unmute yourself, and that's where you'll be able to ask the question, okay? Listen actively, simple, actively participate, right? So that means that when we're doing our breakout rooms or when we're doing an activity where I have a whiteboard up, right? And I'm asking you to write down your opinions or write down your answers to questions, I'm expecting you to do that, right? Not just sit there and wait for everybody else to do it and then say, hey, I don't know how, okay? Complete and submit assignments and then dress appropriately, right? So I shouldn't see pajamas. I shouldn't see any blankets on your heads, right? So make sure that you're dressed just like you're going to be in school appropriately. So here's your responsibilities. Log in and for the assigned meeting times, ask or answer questions, right? So if I ask a question, have an answer. If you have questions, wait till I ask you if you have questions and then raise your hand and we'll get those questions out there, okay? So the question that you have may be the same question that the other person have and is just too embarrassed to ask. So ask your questions and we'll answer the questions accordingly, okay? Take turns participating daily in classroom discussions, complete packets and turn in work on time, work independently or in groups when assigned, and be an active member of the virtual community. Okay, pretty simple. Unacceptable behavior, right? So vulgarity, there's no cursing, vulgar language, inappropriate gestures, or because we're in this virtual environment, memes, right? Negative feedback on other work, on other people's work, or comments, right? So when we're asking you to respond in discussion questions, that response should not be negative. Okay, hope that makes sense. Posting negatively or bullying others in the chat. Okay, make sure that you don't have loud music or other things in the background when you unmute yourself. And then there's no eating while in live class. Okay, there's plenty of time in between the live classes to eat. Okay, you also have a lunch period, so make sure you eat during those times, not while you're in the class. So here's some general housekeeping reminders. Minimize background noise by turning off your TV and radios, right? Stay focused, avoid multitasking during class. So when I'm giving you an introduction, you shouldn't be doing the assignment and not paying attention to the instructions. Does that make sense? Mute your microphone until it's your turn to speak, okay? Here's some general class expectations. Be on time, be respectful to yourself and others, speak appropriately, follow all the safety procedures, right? Once we get into the safety lessons, you're going to see that the construction lab has a lot of safety requirements, right? And safety rules. You need to follow those rules to make sure that we're safe, especially when you get back into school. And then proper technology etiquette, right? Okay, making sure that you're using the technology like it's supposed to be used for, okay? So instant messaging, surfing the internet, playing games, right? Watching or listening to music or videos, especially when you come back into the school, is not allowed, Okay? When you're at home, that stuff shouldn't be happening when you're in that 15 minutes of live class. Everybody understand? Hope you do. Procedures. So we're going to have a daily warm-up starting next week. When you enter the classroom or the Zoom meeting, there'll be a question on the board or displayed on the screen, okay? It's going to be displayed on the screen, and it's going to be a discussion question in Schoology that you're going to answer, okay? That's going to be your warm-up. You're going to be writing that into your notebook, okay? Late work. So Stevenson's late work policy is in effect, meaning that each day that the work is late, you minus 10 points. Work that's submitted past 3 days is up to the teacher's discretion on whether I'm going to accept it or not. Okay, so we're working in a flipped classroom model, meaning the first 15 minutes of each day is going over the prior day's assignments and our questions, and then the remainder of the class period is to work on the current day's assignment. If you're absent, it's your responsibility to make up any work. In-class learners, you receive an equal amount of time to complete your work for any number of days absent. Okay, should you need any additional time, let me know. Grading policy, pretty standard. Okay, we'll have 50% will be classwork and warm-up, and then 50% is test, quizzes, and projects. Okay, so your in-class cell phone devices, once you get into the school, cell phones are prohibited in both the engineering and construction labs. Okay, so you need to have that into your bag or into the holder if you want to charge it. Okay, if cell phones are used without permission, of course, disciplinary consequences will follow the school-wide policy. Restroom policy, I'm not going to go over right now because COVID, they're updating that restroom policy for your return to school. Trash and sharpening pencils, all I'm asking you is just don't interrupt class. It's the same when we're in the virtual environment, right? So just try not to interrupt the class when we're in the virtual environment either, okay? Personal grooming is not allowed in class, and you shouldn't be doing personal grooming while we're in our live 15-minute session. Okay, classroom environment norms, think safety first, especially when we're in the construction lab. Horseplay is not tolerated, and students will not participate if in the lab if it's witnessed, okay? There's a wide assortment of resources available in our technology education classrooms, and when you get back to school, I want you to use that technology, okay? Students are asked to return all supplies and equipment to their proper place and enjoy our classroom, but please be respectful of it, okay? Especially when you come back into school, make sure that you're not destroying the mouses, the keyboards, all that stuff, because that's all shared items, and I don't have seconds and thirds of those items, okay? So just make sure we're taking care of what we have. Okay, behavior correction procedures. Here's what we're going to use. So verbal warning first. 2 is the student-teacher conversation. 3 is the classroom consequent or parent contact. And then 4, upon return to school, will be removal for class, right? So some offenses may skip to 3 or 4 with major violations in order to maintain safety and orderly classroom. So in Zoom, okay, I'll do verbal warning, okay, then I'll have you stay after and we'll do a student-teacher conversation, and then the third one would be the parent contact, okay? And then the administration has other consequences for levels of discipline, right? So if you do something really rude inside the Zoom meeting, then there could be more consequences for you. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you have questions, I want you to leave a comment, and then if you have for today's assignment, make sure you answer the discussion question. The discussion question is going to be pertaining to this lesson. Have a great day, guys.